Hey, welcome back to the Waffle Press TV Hangouts. My name is Diego Crespo, and with me I have my lovely co-host.
And Maddie Sophia.
And we're here to talk about TV stuff, as we are ought to do. But sometimes we like to talk about movie stuff, because sometimes I don't get to talk about movie stuff on my other podcast. And sometimes Emily doesn't have time, because she's also a busy woman. So we're going to talk a little bit about Ant-Man at the end of this episode. But first, we'll continue on with our tradition of discussing good TV stuff, like... or goodish, because one of the shows we're talking about is still getting some mixed reactions from people. It's True Detective and Hannibal. So let's just start off with Hannibal right off the bat.
Ooh.
What'd you think? I'll let you go first.
That was the most ridiculous experience of my television life. So we had some guests over at my house, and so I was like and I knew that I was going to terrify them with what I was just about to watch. So it's like I had this whole setup. Like, I got these nice headphones on. Like, my brother is a gamer, and so he let me borrow these super nice headphones. So I am like experiencing, I mean, the show can be really hard to hear sometimes. So I have my mega headphones, and I'm just like glued in. And this is the ultimate episode to be immersed in, because I cried several times in the episode,
whoa,
several times, which is weird because normally there will be some like soul slam at the end of the episode and I'll just be dead and then I'll try and deal with the aftermath. But it was like, so spoilers, of course, for everything in the episode, but, I cried at the part when Alana and Margot found the fetus in the pig and the baby. And for some reason, I just had a very visceral response to that because I should have seen it coming because of the way that Margot's brother was trying to lead up to it. Like, I knew it was going to be something awful. It was a whole nother level of just sick. And I felt, my response was either like, I can't watch this, I need to leave, but I'm like sitting with my headphones and I'm like just there. And so I just cried because I was upset and I was angry. Like, oh man, it just hurt me inside. Cause it's like, of all the dehumanizing, awful things, it actually kind of took me back to that one episode with the person and the horse. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't think I'll ever forget that.
Yep, so this is just another installation in people and animals.
Yeah.
Farm
animals. What
animals.
to come up with next season?
Oh, that's the real question. But yeah, it was such an amazing episode. I love getting to see like everybody kind of conspiring with each other. Like Hannibal you see a much bigger emotional spectrum from him in this episode, like from his exuberant joy at being in this like hideously awful situation to where he's just kind of like, screw it. Like, whatever's going to happen, man, I'll tell you how to cook me. You want some tips? Like, he's just sort of going for it. And Will is also going for it. But it was really cool kind of seeing Alana trying to come to terms with Hannibal and what happened there, and Margot trying to come to, like, basically everybody's trying to come to terms with Hannibal in this episode in a big way. But I think my favorite just overall thematic aspects of the episode was like the dynamic between Will and Hannibal, of course, which just had so many delightful twists and really was very revealing about the true state of affairs between them. And then also Alana and Margot getting to kill Mason together.
Yes.
Power.
Yes.
Power. Like, I was stoked because it was such a huge moment of catharsis after them having to experience this awful realization of what like Mason has done to them, and realizing sort of like what Will was telling Alana, you need to adapt. And so she's like, you know what? Screw it. Here we go. So I guess whereas in the books, this did happen, like with the eel in the face and all that delightful stuff.
All that good stuff.
Yeah. But it was just Margot versus Mason, whereas it's like Alana got to be there with her, and I just think that was like it was really powerful. That juxtaposed with sort of the fallout between Will and Hannibal, and the whole like, I don't have your appetite. And like Hannibal has nothing witty to say. He just takes the notebook and goes, but then it all starts all over again because he always wants to be found.
Yeah.
It's like when I love that conversation at the end where Hannibal's like, so, your mind palace has expanded, has it not? And he's like, nope, no room for you, buddy. And that just kind of put the nail in the coffin for him because he's like, I'm not done here. You think you're done here? The upper hand is always Hannibal's, even if that means he's going to jail. But of course, we know it's going to get very interesting from here. But I think this was just a perfect kind of mid-season finale, if you will. Quite possibly I keep saying like, oh, this is one of my favorite episodes of all time. But it's just that the show continuously improves upon its own insanity in a good way. And I love it.
This is a show that's like, it's not really hyperbole. You're just being honest. This is the best show on TV, and it's constantly evolving, much like it's becoming, which is a big theme with the Red Dragon, Francis Dollarhide stuff. So it's becoming the best thing on TV, if not already. This was a friggin' fantastic episode. Probably my favorite episode of Hannibal ever. It's the way Mason Verger died was just so satisfying and disgusting all at the same time, like in a perfect Hannibal type of way. I kind of thought they were going to feed him to his pigs like they did in the movie, but the eel thing from the books is cool. Like, or maybe just have him choke on the eel while he's being eaten by the pigs. That would have been something.
Woo! That would have been an adventure.
Yeah. Oh man. I'm sure they could have pulled that off if they wanted to, but this is good too. This is excellent. I wonder if they're going to keep Margot around. I almost forgot her name for a while. Margot with Alana, because I believe there's a time jump next week.
Right. So this could be very interesting, like as far as where people are supposed to be at now.
Yeah. It gets my mind turning. But onto this episode, I'll finish up really quick on that because there's so much to say, like about every little aspect. It just felt so finite. Like this could have been a series finale.
It could have been,
It's the middle of a season. Like that's how fantastic this show is. Like I understand Brian Fuller compressed his 7-season plan to like a 6-season plan, and then he cut like this season was going to be, or the next seven or 6 episodes were supposed to be the next season entirely, and this season was Hannibal on the run stuff, but then they just compressed it, and I think cool. Yeah, I mean that was a heck of a lot of fun, that European excursion back to America.
Yeah.
And the relationship between Hannibal and Will is just constantly twisting and evolving, becoming and something just so always fascinating, but still so disturbing and just so fucked up. Like, there's nothing like it on TV. There's a word that they say, or that Hannibal says, or no, who said it? Will says about Hannibal that they are nakama, and I looked up what that word means. I guess it's just like really good friend in Japanese. That they're basically just anime lovers. That's it. Their relationship is just straight out of like an anime.
It all makes sense now.
That's why it's so messed up. They just watch a bunch of anime together, and now they're like this. But no, fantastic episode. Mason Verger was a great villain. I forget the actor who replaced Michael Pitt because of his behind-the-scenes stuff.
I forget his name. It's like Joe Anderson, I think. Yeah,
he did a really good job. He's basically he didn't have to do that much because of his face, and he has to do a divorce.
Everything sound creepy, but you know.
But, with what he had to do, I think he still had a good presence because he still has. He's immobilized in a chair. He has his face covered. Like actors have no tools at their disposal when they have to go like that. That has to be like pure emotional stuff, and he still did a great job. So props to him. Hannibal is such a sick bastard that even when Will lets him get away, He wants to get the final word, and so he gets arrested. But yeah, he gets that one little knife in his back, still, saying he'll always be where he's needed or something. And it's like, oh God, just he's a monster. He's the perfect monster.
I laughed so hard. I feel like a lot of the time what happens with me when I'm watching Hannibal is I get like, intense. I like cry or something happens. And then I'm like laughing my ass off by the end, because when Will comes out and he's like, he's gone. And then you just see him walk up. I was like, damn it. It was just because, I was thinking like from Will's perspective, he's like, he's gone, like that kind of.
It's the best romance of the year. Like, I think you tweeted that to me after you watched it, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, everyone's just it's gonna be a kaleidoscope orgy or something.
Oh man. Yeah.
But yeah, those good thoughts on Hannibal. A+. I mean, we don't really do ratings, but yeah, A+. That was wow. I mean, I don't have trouble picking the best movie of the year that's not Mad Max Fury Road, but it's Hannibal. It's Hannibal.
Yeah.
Hannibal
and Mad Max. Those are my favorite movies.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go on Letterboxd and see if I can put Hannibal there.
Yeah.
Great Hannibal shenanigans. I'm so excited for the Red Dragon stuff. Super bummed that Manhunter got taken off of Netflix.
I know, you told me all about it, and I was sold. But if I'm in a store and I see it on sale, I'll grab it. Or I could use the internet too for other places, but I am sad about that.
It's so good. Just buy it. I'm gonna buy it on Amazon because wow, that movie. It's incredible. But moving on to more dark mystery, crime, thrilling sagas. True Detective season 2 still has people in a mixed bag. I'll go first on this one because I did really like this episode. I think the end of the previous episode is probably the major high point of season 2.
Yeah. This
episode's my favorite, though, even though it's a lot of plot stuff. And I think even though I prefer character to plot doesn't really interest me that much.
Yeah.
It used the plot to put characters into new, interesting spaces that we hadn't seen them before. And now it feels like the ball's finally rolling on stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas it took all of 4 episodes to kick it off, at least. And now the ball's in the court. People are moving into places that are going to be uncomfortable for them. People are going to bump into each other, and it's not going to be pretty. It's still Rachel McAdams and Colin Farrell who are the highlights of the season.
Yep.
Taylor Kitsch did some really outstanding stuff, though. I was a big fan of him through the season, but I think this is his best work, to date.
Yeah.
And Vince Vaughn, it feels like the dialogue's a little more natural to me now. Like, it doesn't feel like they're kind of cringe whenever they talk about stuff.
Yeah.
And it's the first episode of the season that Vince Vaughn doesn't spend trying to get money from someone, so that's good too.
Yes, I noticed that too. I was like, hey, finally I'm not clenching every fiber of my being when he talks. That's a plus.
Yeah. And I wish it was a little more weird, though. I'm sure we'll get that as the season starts closing more, but I'm missing the weirdness because I still don't know what the deal with that Birdman mask is.
We need to give people more near-death experiences, is what I've decided. Because
yes, I think that is the answer to our problems.
Yeah, that would be dandy.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm positive on it. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think this was my favorite episode of the season. And like you said, even though it was very plot intensive, it was purposeful. It wasn't like, okay, now we have to establish the next thing. It was interesting to sort of have that time jump. Everybody is kind of in a different place and really just sort of feeling the weight of the world and realizing that, hey, maybe if we get back on the wagon with this case, we can all get something out of it, and try to move past whatever struggle they're dealing with. For Taylor Kitsch's character, he's of course struggling with this sort of the playing marriage thing that he's trying to do in order to run away from his sexual identity, and everybody just kind of converges. And I was really hoping for this, pretty much since the get-go, getting to see everybody come back into this and be the true detectives, because now it actually matters.
Yeah.
Because it's their case. and it's not just like the state, it's not just Vinci, like they're not really a part of it. It's just sort of the state attorney gets everybody together and they can take it how they will. I think we did get a pretty big revelation for Ray, of course, finding out that,
oh yeah,
whoops, he killed the wrong guy. And so I'm very much looking forward to next week and seeing how that plays out with Frank, because Frank is on the other end of the spectrum where things are going great. Like he's actually, for the first time, I think since we met him, he's found some level of peace, and he like just wants to hang out with his wife and like be in love. And, you know, we've got the bars, we've got whatever, but like there's something better. So he's like the one guy who this entire time has just been like trying to claw his way out of this cage. And then when he finally steps out, he's in for a whole new world of hurt. But yeah, I think that the stakes have been raised in a really effective way, and starting to kind of close in all the plot details that were opened up in like the first 2 episodes, and that initially made everything feel really bogged down. Now it feels much more dynamic and like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. Like you said, there's plot and character that are happening simultaneously instead of just the plot and then the characters come in. So I liked it a lot. And I like anybody who's complaining at this point is just sort of like, can we not? Like,
yeah. I mean, if you're done with the show, just be done with the show. That's fine. You don't have to like something. Believe it or not, I've met people who don't like Mad Max Fury Road, and they're crazy, but that's their opinion, you know? Like,
they are the wrong ones, but everybody else is
wrong. But they're allowed to be wrong. That is your gosh darn freedom as a human being. And if you're in America, as an American, you're wrong plenty of times, so you might as well stick to it. But yeah, I mean, if you're still not on board, just, you know, it's okay to leave. Your life will not be lesser if you leave True Detective. So it's only going to run for like another season, so you're not going to miss that much.
Yeah, it's like I keep seeing people that are like, I gave up on this show a long time ago. It's like, it's episode 5. Like, okay. It just makes me laugh. I'm like, wow, you got some issues to work through if you keep coming back and feeling the need to be like, I can't deal with this, and like, you know, whatever. The show has its flaws. It's different. I'm now writing like down the path to whatever's going to happen, and like any major judgments that I'm going to make as far as like big make or break moments, I feel like are just going to wait till the end. Now, I know that a long time ago, I don't know why this became like a news story of any kind, but there was some cast. Do you know?
I know where this is going. Yeah, I remember.
Like, I just remembered that last weekend, the thing with the orgy thing. I'm like, oh, that's still coming, isn't it?
Yeah. That was going to be my segue, but then I didn't know how to wrap that all into a good sentence, so I was like, I'll just see if it comes up in conversation. So thank you.
You're welcome. It just reoccurred to me, so I don't know. But it's like, because everybody freaked out about it and then just like dead silent. Like nobody was talking about it anymore. So now it's like, okay, we're getting closer to whatever this is. But I'm scared, but we'll see.
I think it's next week. I don't know anything. I just, my guess, I'm planting my flag for next week. Yeah.
I could see it because technically, Annie is she's trying to get into that like party thing. So it might, I think it'll probably be related to that. Yeah, but stay tuned, guys.
Yes, definitely stay tuned for our coverage of the True Detective orgy, which I never thought I'd ever say. But yeah, you know, should be interesting at least.
Uh-huh.
I don't know who's directing the show right now, but they're doing a good job. They're still, Cary Fukunaga is still a little missed, but they're doing good with the directors coming in and out.
Yeah.
My first thought's always Michael Mann now. Like, okay, but yeah, I mean that's our thoughts on True Detective. Getting progressively better. I really enjoy the last couple episodes, and I do feel like my theory on the second half of the season is going to be really, really good. Like, it's going to escalate into why the show got so popular in the first place. So fingers crossed. Yeah, we're positive on it. And now let's move on to our new segment. I'm just going to call it What You Watching.
What You Watching.
Yeah, What You Watching. And it's sort of like Netflix Pick of the Week, but it allows us to talk about more than just stuff on Netflix, because eventually we're going to run out of stuff. And so that's not scrapped or anything, just going to mix it up. And what we're watching, or what we watched, was Ant-Man this weekend, because we all like those Marvel movies, and for the most part, they're pretty good. I mean, I don't really dislike any of them. There's some I just like, whatever, but this summer they got two: Age of Ultron, which I thought was spectacular, if flawed, and Ant-Man, which let's talk about right now. Emily, what do you think of Ant-Man?
So I had a really wonderful time. I loved it. I didn't really have any formed expectations about it. It felt very undermarketed compared to some of the other Marvel movies. Maybe I was just like watching all the Comic-Con coverage and like DC stuff. That's possible, but I hadn't really seen a ton about it. I wasn't prying. I knew that there was a lot of drama in the past as far as like the bigwigs swapping out. So I just kind of shut off my mind and I was like, I'm going to see it whatever way. So I sort of resigned my mind to that. Didn't come in with like expectations either way. And I loved it. I think it's an incredibly entertaining movie. Definitely one of the better standalone character films that we've seen Marvel do so far.
Oh, yeah.
Because pretty much Thor has bombed out for me like just about every time. It's that movie that I'll watch with all my friends and just heckle at ceaselessly. Iron Man has had its ups and downs for sure. First one was great. I really liked the third one.
Yes.
That was pretty divisive
Good. You're
too.
one of the good ones.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no. Yeah. But yeah, so there are different standalone films that I've liked for different reasons. And while Winter Soldier, that's like the top. That is one of the pinnacle standalones for me. But yeah, I think that there was something that was just so sweet about this movie. I don't know. I laughed a lot. I had a really great time. I enjoyed Paul Rudd a lot. I think that he did his Paul Rudd thing, and I think it worked for his character. Evangeline Lilly did a really great job as well. I liked her. Man, what else? Yeah, I just I'm glad that I saw it in theaters. Very, very fun to go with people and just a good time. I look upon it very, very favorably. I could nitpick at whatever little details. Not the best, but really, really good, really solid.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my impression, but yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely solid. The more I think about it, the more I like it. It doesn't have like the big lofty ideas like Age of Ultron did. That's probably my favorite Marvel movie, even though a lot of people would get mad at me for saying that. That's still not objectively best, but that's the one I like to talk about the most at the very least. Ant-Man, I don't like to talk about it that much, but I rush it out to everyone. I'm like, no, you got to see it, because
just see it.
It's a total like palate cleanser of a movie. Like every summer blockbuster's like gotta be big, 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 big. Ant-Man's like small, like literally the smallest, most finite small point, or infinite small point in a sense. Yeah. In the finale, I'll talk a little bit about spoilers in a second, but it's just a really good time. It feels like a movie Joe Dante would have made, like the guy behind Gremlins and a bunch of other weird ass movies. Right. He made a movie called Voyager or something. Like it's about a small Dennis Quaid being launched into the body of another larger actor, and it's kind of a comedy, kind of adventure. Right. It's really weird, but I like it a lot. And but Ant-Man I think is more in common with the first Iron Man in that it's very small scale approach to the superheroic stuff. It's almost like a superhero movie by accident, so kind of perfect for Scott Lang. He doesn't have the big guilt thing that Iron Man does about like putting the world in harm's way. But I like that it's focused on just him wanting to prove himself to his daughter and to be a good dad and a good family member to his ex-wife and her new husband. And it's just it's a lot of heart. Like
it does.
Yeah, I think it's a good small family fun time at the theaters, and a lot of people complain about Marvel villains, and I think they forget that like a lot of villains suck in movies. And like I don't know, I
Yeah.
think the claim is a little overblown at times. I think
Mhm.
Yellow Jacket, well, Corey Stoll's good. The character is not much to him, but the Yellow
Yeah.
Jacket suit is awesome, you know.
I know.
And the
That was
fight
real good.
scenes are so inventive and so outlandish and just bonkers. Like they're literally bonkers. Um,
I
Peyton Reed did a good job, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say before I forget it, because it's such a weird scene. So when they're like in the suitcase that's like falling out of the sky, and then the Cure like disintegration comes
Yeah.
on, I was laughing so hard because it was like, the least fitting song for that moment, but that's like kind of why they did it. Because
Yeah.
it's like disintegration. But anyway.
No,
Continue
that's a great moment. I don't know. I think I heard that was from Edgar Wright's original script, but I don't know if that's true because I then I heard otherwise.
on.
So I don't know. It's all a big mishmash of It kind of makes you wonder, but at the same time, you got to judge it for the movie that was made. And
Yeah.
I think Peyton Reed did a very good job. I think he's going to be getting more phone calls after this movie
Yeah.
to direct more stuff. I'm a fan of his cheerleader movie. I think I wasn't say Step Up. What's it? Bring It On, I think it was.
Oh, my bam.
Crap, I forgot. Okay, well, I'm a fan of his cheerleading movie with Eliza Dushku and Kirsten Stewart. But yeah, I really liked what he did here. And Michael Pena stole the movie for me.
Yes.
I love Michael Pena in this role. I thought he was going to get a little annoying. That never happened. I just wanted him. I want him in like every Avengers movie. Him and Michael Douglas. So Michael Douglas can complain about every superhero.
Yes.
And so Michael Pena can just like tell them funny anecdotes and such.
Yep. I really like the way they did the storytelling thing, like with his words, like in everybody else's mouth. So it's like you're getting this crazy convoluted story where everyone is him. That had a pretty great effect. I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, it's a really inventive little movie. It's sort of like Honey, I Shrunk the Avenger. Pretty much.
Yes, it
like,
is.
Literally because it's a shrinking superhero, but it's just so like, man, like 10 years ago, this movie would have made like $1 billion. Maybe not that much, but it would have made a lot of money. I think it would have been on par with like the popularity of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy, where it's like the movie to watch whenever it comes out.
Yeah.
And I hope more people give it a chance because it's good. It's very good. I'd argue great.
Yeah.
It's just not the world impacting superhero movie like Avengers or Guardians or Winter Soldier, but I think that's fine. I don't think every movie has to be,
Yeah.
It does its own thing and it's a really fun time. I don't think the cameo, there's a quick cameo from another Marvel hero around the middle of the movie. And that's really fun.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yes. That was a great moment. I enjoyed that too.
Yeah, it doesn't have the Iron Man 2 problem where it's like everything, but for no reason. Like, it's a really good movie. Everyone should go watch it. Do you have anything else?
I don't know. Yeah, like I think you hit the nail on the head. I thought it was very inventive, and I think that maybe kind of intimidates certain viewers because they don't really know what to make of Ant-Man. Like when I told my parents about it, they were just immediately scoffing at the title. I'm like, you guys, come on, like get with the program. But yeah, really, really enjoyable overall. Also, I did learn today that George R. Martin's favorite Marvel movie is Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
Yes, he has the right answer. That's right.
I just had to say that because it was in my mind, but Ant-Man is wonderful, and I think it definitely deserves a chance. And it is full of feel-good, happy times and adventure. So do it.
Absolutely. And I guess this turned out to be a spoiler-free review.
I kind of did.
But yeah, okay. That's our spoiler-free review.
That's fine.
I asked people on Twitter way too late before we started recording the show, but I did get one response on your thoughts on Ant-Man. At the real Matt C says it's like Ocean's 11 with a superhero. Wonderful. Yeah.
Yes.
And I love the Ocean's movies, so this is my jam. This is my jam.
Yes.
All right, Emily, that's it for us today. Where can the people find you?
So you can find me on YouTube at M Mighty Sophia, EM, the word mighty, and SOFIA, which is also my Facebook and my Twitter. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. All right. And then you can find me at Dago Waffles on Twitter, at We Talk Movies for audienceeverywhere.net, where you can find most of my stuff. I talked about Ant-Man a little bit, not review, but why the ending works so well. And it's a contender for the best Marvel third act, like the big action climax. It's a contender for the best one for me. And why movie stakes are weird and how they could be any size or just not matter at all. I also check out, obviously, other Waffle Press podcasts. Links all down below. Or start putting this up on iTunes, so definitely subscribe to there whenever these get up. Sorry, I don't have a specific date. And yeah, if you like this, subscribe, obviously, like it, share it. Let's talk about stuff. And that's it for this episode of Waffle Press TV Hangouts. We have been professionally unprofessional.